Today is about why is it so difficult to release family issues, the emotional blocks that are caused and triggered by family members, right? I also want to give you a little bit of a secret and to bring out a little bit of clarity about the blind spot that most people have when they're trying to release their issues. So we all know, no one triggers us as much as our family does and our family members. The the part of the reason for that is that our soul actually chose those parents, chose the siblings that it was born into, just so the issues that arise and the programming that will be instilled while growing up will be such that will allow us to be triggered. And when we are triggered, we think it's a bad thing. We're thinking, okay, why is this happening to me? Why are these people, my family, are acting like that and are doing this to me, right? And when working with emotions and when working on yourself, it's important to remember that nothing happens to us, right? That whenever we feel an emotion, whenever we feel that we're triggered and we feel emotional pain, it is because we have that emotion. So that energy is within us, and it is not the other person's fault for us feeling it. It just is another person that is triggering it. But it is difficult with family members because there could be deep wounds, deep issues, right? When we're small, between usually 0 and 8 years, we're accumulating. We're like a sponge. We're accumulating what is in our surroundings, all the stuff that our family line holds is kind of engraved in us also, right? We as children, we very often would be triggered and planted a seed of feeling not heard, not accepted, just maybe not important, not validated, right? No one hears us, no one wants to listen to what we have to say. We cannot express freely because it is said that you need to be quiet to be a good girl, and boys don't cry, and all sorts of programming, right, that we undergo when we're small. But going back to those, what to do with that now and what happens. So you have all these emotional triggers, these emotional issues, and let's say you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to release it. Now, it is my opinion that the best way to release those emotions, everything that is stuck inside, that the things that others trigger within us, is to actually sit down and allow yourself to feel it. And very often when you start feeling it, you will have flashbacks of memories of childhood. You might get the emotions and the scenes even from when you were small. And that is totally normal because those blocks were formed when you were small, were instilled and programmed within you when you felt all those emotions. And so what happens is, right now, when you're a grown-up and when you are triggered, and when those same issues are triggered within you, let's say you're 40-year-old female or male, right? But in that moment when you are triggered, let's say by your family members, right, you almost become the 3-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old girl or a boy. You feel the same way as you felt when you were a child. And so to release that, you need to allow yourself to feel like that child. Allow yourself to feel it, get that feeling validated, and then get resolution from feeling it, right? Now, the issue becomes, and that's the blind spot for most people. Many people that I work with almost all of them with heavier family issues, get stuck here. Because when they start to feel, let's say we're working with resentment, that's a very popular one, towards father or mother figure, right? And the person is trying to feel the resentment, and then you didn't listen to me, you didn't allow me to buy a new dress when I wanted to look pretty, and you didn't allow me to sing and dance when I wanted to express myself, and whatever it was, right? You didn't listen to me, you just told me that I don't do enough, that I am not enough or something. And it they start and it goes well, and all of a sudden everything stops. The reason being is that there is another blockage that comes with that. And that blockage is that we are also programmed in the early childhood that you are not allowed to talk that way about the elderly, to talk that way about your parents, about your mom, or about your dad, that you're going to be punished if you do. So that programming, it's almost preventing you from preventing from venting out those feelings, because it's almost like there's a fear. There's a fear that you're going to be punished. There's a fear that it is ethically unacceptable to do it. Especially, there's a blockage if it so happens that you still hold on to the emotional blockage when the parent has passed away already. That's very difficult, because there's another programming that we have, that you don't talk ill about dead. So very often we will just block anything that was bad, or that person may have done wrong, or the wronged us, just because we want to, because they're passed away. It's like, oh, it's okay, it's the water under the bridge, they're not with us anymore, etc. Yes, but if it's your parents, they might be gone. Sorry for the shake. They might be gone, but your emotional stuff, what you carry, the pain that you carry in your heart, is not. And so just as you're working with your emotions, I wanted to bring that clarity to you, that if it's hard to release something and you're like, I don't know what else to do, look at that you may be blocking yourself from truly feeling what you're feeling. Resentment is pretty heavy energy, but let's say you feel hate, even heavier one. It is really difficult to allow yourself to feel the feeling when you have the programming that prevents you from really allowing yourself to vent those feelings. So another way of looking at it is that when you're trying to release the emotions, you're really doing it for yourself and not against the parents. So when you're saying you were this and I felt that, when you're releasing and you're feeling it, and you're trying to voice what you couldn't say when you were a child, right? Sometimes we just can't even speak. We're not allowed to speak against or speak up, because then we're punished. So when you're processing that, allow yourself to do that, and remember that you're not creating karma for yourself. You're not creating, you're not saying things against them. You're just allowing your own emotions to speak. So you're validating yourself. It's sort of like self-love, and allowing yourself to be and say what you want to say, because you're really not talking to them when you're releasing your emotions. You're with you. You're in your room, all by yourself, and you just want you want those emotions to be expressed. So of course, I just realized that I didn't say that. I want to clarify also, I'm not telling you to go to your parents and actually speak up and say those things, right? That's not what releasing really is. But when you release your emotions by being with them and by feeling them, and allowing yourself to go through that again, and turn sometimes we almost turn into that 3-year-old, 5-year-old, right? When we're releasing, and just allow yourself to feel it and remember how it was. As you're feeling the emotion, the emotional charge from heaviness turns into light. And so that is how, it is my opinion at least, that is how you can release and feel more peace and feel more understanding. And as you're releasing those emotions, there's wisdom that comes also. And there's many things that come up when you allow yourself to sit with those emotions. There's many things that come up that you actually didn't remember from childhood, that you were like, oh wow, that's why I treat people like this, or that's why I allow, for example, men to treat me this way, or that's how I allow at work for people to treat me that way, or to when that I am, for example, not expressing freely because of something that happened in the childhood, or that I am not allowing myself to be who I want to be because that happened. But not until you start going within yourself and feeling those emotions, that you're gonna be able to find out the truth about yourself, find out what you are not, find out what is just a programming, what is just a figment of program of and being indoctrinated into something, and some belief that you hold about yourself that is connected to that emotional blockage. So I hope that I know I was going in circles a little bit, but I hope that clarifies a little bit and will help you when you're trying to clear the triggers, especially the emotional blockages that come up with being with close family members. So as always, love and light, and have fun releasing those emotions. Take care.